tuning in to another digital extra episode of The Little Radio Show. Episode 46x provides the outtake from our conversation about why you need to save money and some tips on how to do just that. You can find the complete conversation at episode 46. Just a reminder that The Little Radio Show is on hmsnetradio.org on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Central Time. Show hosts are myself, Sandra Fernandez, Juana Aranis, and Angelica Casares. So what we're really talking about is doing without.
Yeah.
We're talking, it's people work hard, and they make what they make. If they're not in a situation where additional income is going to be a possibility, go out and find a second job or whatever, then some austerity measures are usually probable. We talked about this last year when I started my business. Yes, last year when I started my business, one of the first things I did was figure out where I could cut corners, and I didn't do it with my cable completely.
But you had corners to cut.
I had corners to cut.
There's some people who don't have corners to cut.
But some even if you don't, though, they're still like, instead of shopping at the retail store, you shop at the thrift stores. Instead of shopping at, you buy things that are used. You get hand-me-downs.
But there are already some people out there who
go to pantries.
Do
that. You do
and
what you need to do.
You're right. There are some people out there who are already doing that, but.
So it's kind of hard. I think, for me to explain to somebody, well, you need to do without, and they're like, the thought that you're already doing without, I figure, and I think to myself, how much more can you possibly
But the thing
do
is
without?
that,
all right, let's be honest here for a minute, okay? There's all,
and I know
I am hard pressed. I grew up living in the East End in a duplex, okay, 1 bedroom. We had a mattress on the floor for the kids. I know, poor. Okay, my dad worked. He worked as a construction worker. My mom was stay at home. I know, poor. That's long time ago. I'm not there anymore. So yeah, it is very easy for me to tell people that they need to do stuff, but more often than not everybody. More often than not, people will tell you there's no place for me to cut, and they've got cable with 3 different options. More often than not, they've got cellular phone service, maybe at a higher rate than they need. And by bringing it down, it would be $10 a month. $10 a month sounds like nothing, but it helps. More often than not, people are telling you, no, they won't use coupons because it's embarrassing. More often, stuff like that.
So do you think they need to research more what they're doing now?
But the thing is, that's kind of where the point that I want to get to is that I don't think that we don't get an education on how to spend money wisely.
Yeah, that's another thing.
There's a lack of information and a lack of education of this is how you make decisions about spending. I mean, I think if we started early and kind of gave people that exposure, that people would make better choices. But I think if you don't have any knowledge of, and you all of a sudden you have money and you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to buy this and that.
So I grew up in a household. It was a 1-parent household, and she saved every penny.
Yeah.
Everything. She actually saved a lot, and she, bought a home on her own. She did what she needed to, and she saved money for her retirement now, which is what she's utilizing now.
And that is wonderful to hear.
Yes. And she didn't live a luxurious, and this is the only reason why I know how to thrift and do all kinds of I know how to cut corners because I was taught how to cut corners and very fast.
Your mom brought all y'all up. She was a single parent. She didn't have, a higher education. Y'all lived in what would be considered a very urban environment, okay? Not like there was a lot of money. And she made every penny scream, basically.
No, and she did. And she counted, everything. Everything was it wasn't, Coca-Cola wasn't Coca-Cola, it was Shasta.
Yes.
There was all kinds of corners cut every direction in every possible way. She sold her little plants for the money that she could, and she bought me underwear at the dollar store and things like that. That was my reality. But that's the way she knew how to save money.
She had a knowledge of how to do it. But if you don't have a knowledge of how to do it, then you don't.
She figured it out.
But if you don't have the knowledge and you don't have the the wherewithal to do it, to figure it out, then how do you like?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think for us, I didn't grow up with home ec, but I wish there was a financial class with it, like even in middle school.
But
there should have been like a finance
in
because
schools.
I didn't know about interest. I was like, what's interest? And I was already like
Most
20
people,
years
for
old.
credit cards, they don't understand the interest.
Yeah, we don't understand the interest.
Let
and I
alone
was like,
the
what's
market
interest?
that you can buy stocks and you can use
CDs.
stocks as
I didn't
well.
know there was a possibility that I could put $1,500 and then in 5 years it was going to accumulate money and then I could put it back in and it can accumulate more money. I didn't understand that until a few years ago. And I was like, why? Simple financial courses should be available.
Term life insurance. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, what the heck is term life insurance? And I just recently learned what term life insurance was. And I'm, older.
But I think you're right. I mean, I think that you can always look at your situation and figure out, like, where can I cut something? And even if it's $4 a day.
But where can I cut
$4
something
a week,
and then put it to good use? Pay off your credit cards. Save money for an emergency. One of the first things Dave Ramsey tells people before he gets them to pay anything off is put $1,000 aside for an emergency.
And that's where I got that from. As he said cash emergency. He
Yes,
said, don't
cash
put it in the
emergency.
bank. Don't
No.
put it anywhere. Put it in an envelope somewhere in your house and safeguard it like it's your life. Before you do anything else, before you stop paying bills or doing this or doing that or whatever, put that money aside because those saving grace, $1,000 are going to save you from whatever it is. Your AC breaks down, your car breaks down, there's an emergency, something happened to somebody, and so on and so forth.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of The Little Radio Show. We invite you to check out our iTunes and our Stitcher channels and leave us a rating or a review. You can find the link to both channels at thelittleradioshow.com.